Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. I wanted to do a video focusing on AGL Super 17 here. I never did a proper 200% leader skill video for him. And I feel like now is probably a good time for that with the Dokkan Fest STR Super 17 having just dropped. I think that this guy is pretty good. This AGL Super 17 is probably one of the better aging characters in the game's history. I think because defensively, alright, just with his defensive ability, this Super 17 is not that great. But because he can get his damage reduction up so high, it allows him to be effective even in this meta with these red zone bosses doing huge amounts of damage. This Super 17 can be effective in today's content, despite the fact that this is the April Fool's Day Dokkan Fest from 2017. This guy originally came out on April 1st of 2017, and he's very relevant in all these red zone fights, right? Now, the thing about him, again, he gets 40% damage reduction at the start of turn. Now, I've been telling people this. Damage reduction and guard alone does not mean you're good anymore. It doesn't work that way. You have to have damage reduction and guard plus huge defense. Like, we're talking 500k defense plus. Or your damage reduction can get so high that it doesn't matter, right? Which is like 70% plus. When you're at like 70% damage reduction, 80%, 90%, you're able to tank these huge hits. Now, this Super 17, again, 40% damage reduction, start a turn. Then he builds up 1 key up to 3, 30% attack up to 150%, and then 6% damage reduction up to 30% with each attack received. So there are fights, maybe like Red Zone Cell Max, where this guy won't perform the greatest in. But there's a lot of fights like, you know, maybe the Metal Cooler Core, or Red Zone Broly, or, you know, Red Zone Omega, where this guy can very easily build up before things get too tough. And this guy can be very helpful. This unit is really good to have around with the new Dokkan Fest Super 17. Actually, what are my equips? I have good stuff on him? No, not really. I probably could buff his equips. I mean, this is good. He still has a bunch of, like, the super attack effect. That is raising his actual attack stat. So, he is doing more damage. We got the level 5 defense equip on him. So, I guess those equips are probably fine. Okay. So, I guess let's just hop to it. You know what? I think I might actually leave 19 and 20 on rotation here with him. Because then we'd have more support. And we will float off one of the STR Super 17s as well. So remember that Super 17 is not really going to go too crazy until he builds up. His link set, by the way, Android Assault, Fear and Faith, Fuse Fighter, Nightmare, GT, Shocking Speed, and Fierce Battle. Now, the Dokkan Fest Super 17, the STR one right here at the end, when they fuse into Super 17, they do share all 7 links with AGL Super 17. That can be pretty handy, right? Because we're talking like Fuse Fighter is 2 key, 5% attack and defense. GT, 2 key, 10% attack and defense. Android Assault, 2 key, 20% defense. Like, a lot of their links give defense, right? They have 4 defensive links. Android Assault, Fuse Fighter, GT, and Shocking Speed. That's helpful. So 122k for AGL Super 17. He gets 50% attack and defense from his super attack effect. So, you know, if he doubles super, that could help AGL Super 17 a lot, right? A double super would give him a double 50% defensive buff. So remember, we need him to get hit, 3 dodge, okay. We need him to continually get hit, and it builds up his damage, his key, damage reduction, which can be very helpful. One other thing this Super 17 does, I never talk about it, and I don't know that it's really the biggest deal ever, but I mean, it's worth mentioning. He does give a little support in that he gives target Goku category allies on the rotation a 17% chance to crit. Now, as I understand it, the way that works is it's not like a stacking buff, right? So it's not like all of a sudden, oh good, you know, we now get an additional, okay, so my tech androids, what crit do they have? 12 crit? So they have what, a 24% chance to crit with every attack, my tech androids? So it's like, it's not like you would get that 24% plus 17. I believe it would be like the 24%, and then if that doesn't hit, then we would also get that 17%, and then that might not hit, right? I believe that's the way that actually would work. Because if it was like a stacking support buff, that would be pretty effective, actually. One other thing I should mention, that last turn for Super 17, we did have the Dr. Zero and Dr. Mew multiple turn buff. Remember that they are starting to give us support type characters now who give multiple turn support buffs. That is pretty interesting, right? A multiple turn support buff is, I think, very powerful. You know, we've got Yajirobe that could do it. We have Dr. Zero and Dr. Mew. There's a couple of other characters with, like, super attack effects, like the 2000-day LR Goku. On his 12 key, I believe, he gives multiple turn attack and defensive support, right? Okay, so again, we want to... This is a great rotation. We'd have a lot of links activated here. But let's just put Super 17 in slot 1 so we could build him up. And again, we need to take... What is it? In terms of his damage, he needs 5 hits. And then it's 5 hits for his damage. Yeah, so he needs to take 5 hits in total to fully build up both his damage reduction and his attack, right? Alright, now this is a little bit unfortunate. This Cell's super attack, I believe it does lower attack right here. Yeah, it does. Okay, he took a lot of damage there. Right, remember, this Cell is a legitimate red zone boss right here, right? Up to 6.23. Considering how strong defensively this guy can be, like, you know, I'll take that damage right there. Absolutely. So, is he... I think Super 17 might actually be fully built up. He might be. One thing I got to keep in mind with Dr. Zero and Dr. Mew, I haven't used them enough, but I got to keep in my head that I have to make sure to get 3 orbs with Zero and Mew to get that multiple turn support buff. Okay, so far so good. We're seeing some good stuff from Super 17. Again, this is a character we're able to use in a lot of content. Alright, now, we're going to be able to transform with the Super 17s right here. That's pretty good. I think what I'll probably do is I'll just go ahead and transform with both Super 17s right here. We'll transform the first one, and then we'll cut to the next rotation. With Super 17 on it. So this is good. That actually worked out well. We took that damage and we could transform. This is beautiful. Alright, so we have a decent little rotation right here. We'll have everything activated except for Fuse Fighter. 133k defense, we could see that that's definitely not the craziest right there, right? And that's exactly what I'm talking about, where your damage reduction has to be very high, or, again, guard with huge defense to really be super effective right there. So he's at 133k defense. Let's get the 3 orbs right here. Let's see how much that goes up. So that jumps up to 150k. Okay, perfect. Now remember, Super 17's attack is actually lowered on this turn, right? That second form Cell hit us with the well, it's a 3-turn attack debuff, but 2 rotations for Super 17. So on this next rotation after this, we'll be able to see Super 17 sort of... I mean, actually, this is going to be perfect, because we'll have him with Dr. Zero and Dr. Mew. We're going to have Super 17 linked up with STR Super 17, so we're going to see things look pretty good. Now, remember, he gets 50% attack and defense with a super attack effect. So if he double supered... he supered him right there again. Come on. That's another 2-turn debuff. Damn you, Cell. And, yeah, we are fully built up. So at this point, Super 17 begins to get pretty tanky. Just like that. So, alright. We'll skip ahead again. We'll get the 2 Super 17s next to each other. We're going to get some good numbers here. Alright, so this is a strong rotation for sure. Remember, we are debuffed at the moment a little bit by second form Cell. Super 17, of course, is fully built up for us. Let's go ahead and see what we get right here. So he's at 116. Remember, this is going to jump up a little bit with the 3 orbs. We have all 7 links activated for Super 17. So that is going to be pretty good. So we should be able to, again, get some pretty decent numbers right here. There's STR Super 17 eating that, because, of course, we know about the very, very dumb condition, right? You have to be below 70% HP for him to actually nullify Ki Blast Super. Very stupid. Okay, he's able to do this. There's another good thing about AGL Super 17 is, you know, we're giving this ridiculous guy, this STR Dokkan Fest Super 17, all 7 links, which helps him a lot, too. Remember that transformed Super 17 is, I mean, he is basically like a Gamma level character once he's transformed. He does still have some annoying conditions, but again, he's right up there, right? So, alright, so there's that. So after this turn, we will have the debuffs completely gone. Well, I guess Cell's gonna give us a defensive debuff. Well, so far in this video, Cell has kept us very debuffed the entire time, but we've seen Super 17 eat all these supers, and we are sort of hanging in there fine, so that's good. So, alright, let's cut to the next turn, and we are gonna have Super 17... he should be able to do some very decent damage for us. That should be good. Alright, we got the null... I have to put that in the video. We got the nullification with that Super 17. Like, I have to have that in the video, right? Like, we have to get that in there. Okay, so at 125k defense, remember that is a little bit debuffed. Alright, this is perfect. So... next turn is going to be the huge turn I'm going to want to see. We'll be able to have all 7 links activated. We'll have multiple turns support from Dr. Mew and Dr. Giro. It's going to be looking pretty good. So let's see what damage Super 17 will do on this turn. And then next turn is going to be the big one. Because what we'll do is we'll have Dr. Giro and Dr. Mew. They give the 2-turn support. And then we're going to have this rotation right here. We're going to have the 40% support from Giro and 19, and then of course we're going to have all 7 links activated with STR Super 17. So again, next turn is going to be super good for us to see what it is exactly that AGL Super 17 can put up. His damage numbers, again, are decent. I mean, when you're using this character, I feel like you probably want to think of him in a similar role as almost like a TUR AGL Golden Frieza or something like that. Like if I'm running this Super 17, I'm running this guy as a defensive character, right? Like, I'm not running this guy with the intention that he's doing a ton of damage for us or anything like that. Like, I'm running him specifically just to be defensive. That's it. That's the only reason I'd run Super 17. So he could put up some decent damage. I mean, I guess he is giving the crit support as well. I mean, it's relevant to mention that he gives that. So, all right, we'll come right back, and we'll have, again, sort of the big turn for Super 17, see what he's able to do. Alright guys, so this is the rotation I was looking for. We can see we have the Scouters from Dokkan Fest Super 17 right here. So we're going to have all 7 links activated, right? We have the multiple turn support from Dr. Giro and Dr. Mew as well. So let's sort of go ahead and see what we're able to get on this rotation. I would love to put STR Super 17 in slot 1 to absorb this, but we want to make sure we see what Super 17 is putting up for us. So let's see the damage that Super 17 can do right here. By the way, this run so far, this video, we have been super attacked relentlessly so far. 6.32 he gives us. Decent, I think, for Super 17 to, you know, sort of do that. He's got the crits and stuff like that, and again, he is a rather defensive character, so I do like AGL Super 17. I think that he's a pretty, again, powerful character. That could actually help us. Despite the fact that he's so many years old, he's actually still relevant, right? Like, that's just the power of defense. Think of, like, offensive characters from 2020. Like, the offensive characters from 2020 are just not relevant in any way, right? Like, it's like Blue Kaioken Goku got his EZA, right? Like, this guy is still hanging in there. Defense is always better than offense in this game. Defense is always going to age better than offense in this game. I think that this AGL Super 17 or Tech Ultimate Gohan, who, believe it or not, this AGL Super 17 and Tech Ultimate Gohan were in the same data download. And they both have been 2 of the better aging characters. I remember that data download and going crazy over not just Tech Ultimate Gohan, but this guy. And we're now, you know, closing in on 3 years later, and these units are still incredibly good. This Super 17 on a 200% leader skill, he is very, very helpful for sure. So, let me know what you guys think of AGL Super 17. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.